30 years ago. I'm originally from Wisconsin, where I lived for 20 years. Then I was in Madrid, where I've been for pretty much a decade. My old boss in the music business called and said, hey, I'm opening Polygram Records for Latin America. Do you want to join me? And I said, no. I'm really finally fine in Spain, but I will come visit you. He said he'd let me send you a ticket. So I did. I had an amazing time. Miami chose me, I chose Miami. I signed my agreement, went back to gather my stuff, and Hurricane Andrew hit. So I moved back to Miami with sailboats on South Bay Shore. The people at the Doubletree Hotel were saying, hey lady, don't complain about any water or any mold. You're just lucky to have a place. I basically lived on a plane. I was working all the time. I had a dream job overseeing English language marketing for what was then Polygram Records, now Universal in Latin America. So I was a big fish in a small pond. I was in Buenos Aires or Mexico City or London or LA, working with amazing artists. But when I would come back here, I loved it. I lived on South Bay Shore, also here in Coconut Grove, where I've been for now 30 years. But I didn't really have my people here. I hadn't found my tribe yet. And I started making a few friends, and one of them took me to what's called the Power of the Purse, which is the signature fundraiser of the organization that I am now executive director of, the Women's Fund. And I found my people. It was a big ballroom at Parrot Jungle, and I looked around and I said, oh my gosh, all these people who care about the things I care about, maybe Miami is a place I might want to stay. So I like to talk about stories. I always call myself the Forrest Gump of the Latin music industry because I was an accidental tourist. One thing led to another. I started delivering records. I translated the Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters press conference in Madrid, and I ended up organizing it because there was a plane strike and the bosses lived in Barcelona, so they didn't make it on time. So I organized the whole thing. One thing led to another, and for over 30 years, I was in the Latin music business. Now, I call myself the Forrest Gump of doing things that I love, and my dream job is what I'm doing now, which I didn't know was my dream job, which is running an organization that I love. Ten years ago, the World Health Organization and the United Nations came out with a statistic that 1 out of 3 women and girls would be raped or beaten in her lifetime. So, a group of amazing, mostly women, but humans across the globe got together to say more than 1 billion women and girls are going to be abused, more than 1 billion of us have to stand up. And one of those pivotal human beings was Eve Ensler, who wrote the Vagina Monologues. She was in contact across the globe with people who would produce the Vagina Monologues every February to fundraise for their local organization. So, long story short, a friend had just moved. She's one of my dearest friends now, but I barely knew her. I'd only met her once when Lisa Scala Aiken said, let's organize 1 Billion Rising here in Miami. So she and Sylvia Fairuti, who's another amazing activist, put together 1 Billion Rising, and a bunch of us volunteered our rear ends off. And many of those friends that I made volunteering my rear end off are my best friends today. People that were the ones you could count on, people who were showing up. So we rose right in front of New World Symphony that first year, 10 years ago. And then after that, Lisa and Sylvia asked me if I would be the coordinator for 1 Billion Rising Miami. And I said yes, happily. And we organized 2 after that, both in Curiosities Plaza, where we have the book fair every year, our amazing Books and Books MDC book fair every year. And we organized an incredible, we had mayors, we had survivor leaders, we crossed and stopped traffic for human trafficking on Biscayne Boulevard. We went over to the Freedom. We did a drum circle, we had a healing tent, and it was just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I started when I was a kid, but I've really been involved here for more than 10 years. after I was named coordinator, we whiteboarded with the people who had risen with us that first time. And after that very successful session, we created a Freedom from Violence Coalition, Lisa and I, as 1 Billion Risers, in partnership with the Women's Fund Miami-Dade. And long story short, that's what led me to where I am today. There are many things I always say. One of them is, this is your Women's Fund. Another thing I say, the Women's Fund is dedicated to creating a post-silo Miami for women and girls. We are stronger together, indeed. You can join us in any way you want by participating. womensfundmiami.org gives you impact hours. You can come once a month to learn what you need to know and what you can do to support women and girls in our community. You can look at our gender equity dashboard, get data about women and girls. You can help fuel our mission in many, many different ways, including helping us fuel our grant making. And we also have these amazing public awareness campaigns about the effects of extreme heat on pregnant people, suicide prevention, especially self-harm for women and girls. Hey Dad, why are you still paying women less campaign. So it's many things. One is our signature fundraiser to help fuel our mission, but really it is just as much a program. We have 4 pillars without which women and girls are not set up to truly thrive here in Miami-Dade. One of them is freedom from violence, how I became involved. If you're not free from violence, impossible to fully thrive. Leadership. So it's leadership like being able to envision yourself in a position of leadership, like our county mayor, Daniela Lubin-Cava, who will be speaking at Power of the Purse on May 5th. But it's also access to leadership. That's our second pillar. Health and well-being, clearly, that means you have access to take care of your own health in every single way, and economic mobility. We talked about pay equity before. We need it. We're not even close. And there are many other things that we can do to support women and girls economically here. So Power of the Purse is fun, but it's also a serious program. It's a luncheon. So we gather downtown Central. I say we're always meeting when you come to the Women's Fund, whether it's virtual or in person. It's like our Plaza Mayor, our central, your town square, where people come from north, south, east, west, all different sides, different ages, different cultures, different languages, different everything, but with one thing in common. We're there to put a serious gender lens on this community to see what we need to do to support women and girls. And so it's fun. We have a fun silent auction. We have a cool thing called Jewelry for Good, where people can donate like 1 gold earring or tarnished silver, sterling silver platter, that they can donate that and get 100% off on their tax returns for that. And so we do that kind of networking and fundraising stuff. And then we have a full program, which will include some incredible speakers, some of our grantees who are working with the toughest communities, taking care of our early child learning. Some of the kids whose moms happen to be homeless or working 3 jobs, they're working to solve some of those issues. A brilliant champion survivor of human trafficking, Dr. Brooke Bello, one of the smartest, most brilliant people I've ever met in any community, and she'll be speaking with us. We have our founder, Marilyn Gladstone, who's I think turning 89, the mayor, all kinds of people, and basically over 900, close to 1,000 human beings that you're going to want to talk to. So we really invite everybody to come, powerofthepurse.org, be there and be in our town square, not B Square. Come to our town square. There's an incredible legacy of the Women's Fund. In fact, we're starting to record her stories just on Zoom. So people tell the stories of how this town would not be this town for women and girls without the Women's Fund. So the first grant that Lotus House ever got was from the Women's Fund. In fact, the amazing, brilliant Constance Collins was on the Women's Fund board 30 years ago, and she resigned to be able to apply for her first grant, opening Lotus House. We gave the first one to Casa Valentina, and we're their fiscal agent as well. And Eva Ensler had a lot to do with that. She came and said to Lisa and others, if you really want to do something special in Miami, you will help young women who are graduating out of foster care to not live on the streets when they turn 18. they got their first grant from us. Leap for Ladies, who works with formerly incarcerated women, got their first grant from the Women's Fund. Not huge funds, it's just that gender lens and that big ear of really caring and really understanding gaps and needs. Urgent Inc., not only did they get their first grant from us, but their founder says, Marya, I'm the elder in the room now, but I was young and I didn't know anybody. The networking opportunities, the true connectivity that I got was amazing. Educate Tomorrow, huge budget now, getting all these foster kids prepped into, through college and on scholarship. Virginia Emmett says, Marya, I couldn't get arrested at the beginning. We knew that we had a great idea and there was a gap in need, but it took the Women's Fund to get that stamp of approval. The Women's Fund today has iterated and we do more things than we used to do. I said that we do these impact collaboratives, we do some transformative grant making, we do have a gender equity dashboard, and we do these public awareness campaigns, but all of these are gears that mesh. We mesh not only amongst the things that we feel that we can do to fill gaps and needs, but we mesh with the gears of all these other organizations. We always leverage on behalf of women and girls across the community, and that might be because we're doing something with the YWCA, because we're doing something with Girls Inc. We might be doing something with the Girl Scouts. It depends. What do we need to know? What can we do? And how are we stronger together in making that happen? I will say it's so important for everybody to donate directly, time, talent, or treasure to those organizations, and to work with us to keep that big picture focus on Miami-Dade, because together it all works. Trust us, it all works. I love this city and I am a good ambassador, and I try and get people who just move here or are visiting here to get involved right away. So I've got all kinds of tricks. I'm a walker, and I've got this cute dog. Maddie, come here, come here. So I take them walking with Maddie in Coconut Grove. Coconut Grove, I call it Coconut Groove. It's an amazing place to be. Coconut Grove Sailing Club. I've got a friend, you gotta have a friend with a membership, but that's a great place to go. Vizcaya is amazing and a must-see. Lunch at Pam is a must-do. There's a restaurant called La Camaronera, which is on Flagler, and it used to be more of a hole in the wall, but it's definitely not fancy. It's delicious, fresh fish, just like Casablanca and Garcia's. But this one's, yeah, you wouldn't know if a local didn't tell you, because it's right off Flagler. I love to go to Sunrise on Miami Beach. If you go down there, I go around 2nd, 3rd, 4th. You can park for free until 9 a.m. I set my little alarm. I go meditate on the beach, watch the sunrise, take a nice walk and a float. It's one of my very favorite things to do. Bike across the bridge to Key Biscayne. Oh my goodness. I better stop there. I could go and go and go and go, because I love this town. So I really like a lot of the organizations that we work with and for. So anything that Christie House does, Christie House works with young people, young girls especially, who have been victims of trafficking or abuse. Amazing organization. Leap for Ladies, absolute genius. Leap for Ladies, you gotta go to the Dragonfly Thrift and speak with some of these incredible leaders who are formerly incarcerated women. Lotus House also has a great thrift, Lotus House Thrift, run by people who really understand this community and have come from that community, women who were formerly experiencing homelessness. Girls Inc., everything they do is fun. I'm gonna miss some of my favorite ones, I'm sure. The Mayor's Ball is great. We have Miami's first female mayor, Mayor Daniela Levin-Cava, who's never missed a Power of the Purse. She's a huge Women's Fund supporter for a long time. Our amazing state attorney will be there as well, Catherine Fernandez-Rundle. Anything that she's doing is always terrific, because she's worked so closely and so diligently with us, with all of us in the human trafficking arena. She's got amazing leadership. So every time there's a big sports event, and there are great ones here from Formula One to some parts of the World Cup that are coming to Super Bowl will come back again. Think of hundreds and thousands of us working behind the scenes to make sure that it's as safe and enjoyable for everyone as it should be. So those are all things I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure there are more. Art festivals, Fountainhead Arts, my love. Fountainhead Arts in Morningside, amazing things to do. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to focus on one because I want credit for this one. There's a wonderful fresh fish market called Shore to Door. It's in Coconut Grove on Douglas, just near Grand. Wonderful female owner-operator, Indira, who's the most amazing human being ever. So not only do they sell fresh fish, but they cook a few things. So you'll have some amazing ceviche or a whole flash fried fish. And there's a little hole-in-the-wall kind of vibe in the back. There's a wonderful outdoor terrace, and it's got very comfortable lounge chairs and tables where you can eat. And Saturday night, they have amazing live music. So very hidden gem, very worth a visit. See you there.